Senegal, surfing is much more than a sport. It's an obsession. An international surf destination with near mythic fame, this West African country is now turning out surfers ready to take on the world.
She's out there firing it up. The potential is there. We just tapped into it.
With plenty of drive and the skills to match, they're changing surf's image. From California dreaming to something authentically African.
Surfing is growing here in Africa in leaps and bounds. And I think our surfers, especially from Senegal, are going to make a huge impact in the next few years.
These are Senegal's surf dreams. This is Inside Africa. As a kid, Kaju Sambe remembers her brothers finding planks of wood along the beach and using them as surfboards. She had no choice but to watch from the shore. Kaju was told surfing was not for girls. But at 13, she defied her family and picked up a board of her own.
Ouais, je me suis commencé en fin 2009.
I started surfing in 2009, and it was tough as a young Senegalese girl to get started. There were good people who have supported me, like Walid, the local shaper, and my bosses at the surf school where I work, who told me not to listen to critics and told me to keep going.
Society's expectations were not on Kaju's side, but her talent spurred her on. She's now the only Senegalese woman listed on the World Surf League Tour and became the country's first female surf champion.
And when she first got here, she was really, really rough. She was like the best candidate that we found in all of the film footage of all of the surfer girls. And she had this spark, so we knew that that was an untapped potential.
After breaking down stereotypes in her country, she now wants to encourage more girls to grab a board and to take on whatever the sea throws at them.
Senegal is a Muslim country, so some girls drop out of school, have a husband and children. They stay at home taking care of everything, which doesn't leave time to surf or do other sports. It's also tough to see a single girl surfing with a lot of guys. That sometimes brings problems. Now people are beginning to see that it's not just boys and that girls can surf too. A lot of people encouraged me, and now I help the girls who want to start surfing.
We have a spirit of sharing and openness, what we call teranga. It's the principle we start from here. If someone new comes along, we welcome them and try to all be happy surfing together. We are all looking to enjoy ourselves when we go in the water.
One of the people who has backed her from the start is Walid Mukadem, a local shaper whose handcrafted boards helped build the surf community here.
I decided to make surfboards for local surfers like Haju to encourage them, help them go further, so they had their own material. Surfboards are expensive, so are the materials to make them. Not everyone can just say, okay, I want a board and I'm going to start surfing. Even those who have money think very hard before buying one.
The 2020 Olympics in Tokyo next year will feature surfing for the first time. Kaju sees it as an incredible opportunity for her budding career. But to take her training to the next level, she knows she will have to leave Senegal. "21-year-old Sidi Kamara is another aspiring Senegalese surfer with dreams of becoming an international pro, who is already testing the waters.
Non, je revenais il y a 2 mois
I came back 2 months ago from a competition in Spain, Canary Island, in Tenerife, that had given me a taste of pro competition, and I felt good. I wanted to do more.
Sidi is a full-time entrepreneur and coaches kids learning to surf in his spare time. He squeezes in his own training sessions for the national team on early mornings and weekends.
Senegal surf culture is a bit like Senegal's culture, more generally. People are generally open and friendly. When I travel, I see the way locals treat the tourists really badly and are sometimes really aggressive. People here welcome tourists and everyone come and surf. It's sunny all year round and the surfers are nice to people. There are so many great spots here. I think it's better to be positive and all surf together.
Sidi hopes to be able to show off this local hospitality and his mad skills at the upcoming Senegal Pro, Senegal's first ever pro surf competition. A historic opportunity to earn the points needed to join the championship tour. He knows the competition will be tough. Those on the professional circuit travel regularly and receive a constant flow of new boards from sponsors.
What we really need now is access to the really top coaches. Beyond that, moving forward in surfing requires a lot of travel, experiencing all different types of waves that comes when you get sponsors. When you have sponsors helping young people to attend pro competitions, that would really change things for us.
Meanwhile, Sidi shares his own skills freely with young surfers like Djibril Tal, an 11-year-old recognized as another one of Senegal's top talents. A champion in the making, he enjoys the perfect balance of personal drive and a supportive family.
For kids like Djibril and his friends, there is a future and hope for them. There are only good things ahead.
Djibril also rides a board given to him by Walid and is now training hard for the Youth Olympics in 2022, which will be held here in Senegal. With several generations of surfers in Senegal passing down their hard-won knowledge and well-honed techniques, a new generation of surfers is poised to remake the face of pro surfing. Ahead, seeking out the perfect conditions and secret spots of Africa's next champion. Thousands of miles away from her country's legendary break, Kaju Sambe is getting her first taste of surf life outside of Senegal. Despite jet lag and missing home, her dream of competing against the world's best is starting to become a reality here on the California coast.
California et Senegal, c'est tellement différent.
Surfing in Senegal and California is so different. We all get on really well and you can surf wherever you want. Here it's a bit difficult if they don't know you. The waves are different and sometimes people are kind of aggressive. Sometimes they are nice though.
In 2018, Kaju joined Black Girls Surf, a collective that trains and sponsors African women who want to become professional surfers. She now divides her time between Dakar and San Jose, California.
She was like the best candidate that we found in all of the film footage of all of the surfer girls, and she had this spark, so we knew that that was an untapped potential. So when we brought her here, it was rough in the beginning training, and by the time that she left, not only could you tell physically that she had changed, but you could tell that she had changed emotionally and spiritually. And this time she came back, she was on fire, she's focused, and she's ready to compete.
Serving as both coach and counselor, Rhonda Harper has watched Kaju flourish in California's waves. Back in Dakar, Kaju initially faced disapproval from her community and had to persuade her family to let her surf. Here in the United States, she is having to prove herself all over again.
Haju stands out because, first of all, you don't see very many West African surfers going pro. For Haju to be a part of the WSL and the ISA with the potential to go on to the Olympics and into the championship tour, she has leaps and bounds. But when you see her in the water and she hits that wave, you know she has that spark. And the stance always reminds me a little bit of Greg Knoll at YMA. She's just got like a real, when she bears down, so you're in for a fun ride.
Already mentioned in the same sentence as some of the sport's top surfers, the next step for Kaju is to find sponsors and expand her training beyond the water. She credits Black Girls Surf for allowing her to go big with her dreams.
Avec Black Girl Surf et Ronda aussi.
With Black Girl Surf and Ronda, it's been extraordinary. She's so kind and she's there to help everyone, and we have a lot of support to help us come to the United States. All of them do so much for us.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and once you get a sponsor, you have to perform at peak levels.
Back in Senegal, a move has begun to take the sport to the next level while challenging its traditional image. Like Kaju, the president of the Senegalese Surf Foundation is focused on the Tokyo Olympics, where surfing will be a medal sport for the first time.
We're all dedicated to make surf better, not only for Senegal, but for Africa. And we're among the 3 best countries for surf for Africa. And we're in good position to be selected as African representative for surf in the next Tokyo Olympic. But also, we have to bear in mind that Senegal is hosting also a very huge event coming, is the Youth Olympic Game that is coming in 2022.
The 1960s movie Endless Summer showed the world Senegal's perfect breaks. But it wasn't until the early 2000s that the Senegalese themselves started surfing professionally. For Senegal's first generation of surfers, the upcoming pro competition is proof of their pioneering efforts to establish a surf scene here.
En fait, j'ai trouvé
I started to surf when I was 15 or 16 and living on the North Dakar coast. I had an expatriate friend who was working here. We started surfing together and I love it, so I started doing it regularly. Now I'm a surf instructor and I opened Malika Surf Camp with my wife a decade ago. There were just a dozen or so Senegalese surfing when I was a teenager. There were a few of us, but not many.
Oui, parce que maintenant, cette situation...
Now this situation has completely changed and there are lots of local surfing and there are more surf schools too. There are more than 50 of us now. The WSL competition represents a huge effort for Senegalese surf, which is becoming recognized globally. That's something which gives us motivation to continue surfing to put Senegal on the global surf circuit. So it's a big step forward for Senegalese.
Aziz's wife, Marta y Mauricio, moved to Senegal from Italy to be closer to the surf scene she had heard so much about.
So I was working in a travel company for surfing in Italy, and so I had the idea to create my own surf camp. And some people, some friends told me about waves in Senegal, but honestly I didn't have so much money to come and check and go back. So I buy a DVD online with surfing in Senegal. And when I see there was nice wave, then I collect 7 boards, some wetsuit, and I buy 1 way flight ticket and I move to Senegal.
Marta and Aziz have expanded their surf camp from a few boards she brought from Italy to one of Senegal's most popular. They encourage young Senegalese women to surf and to tackle every kind of wave you can find in Dakar.
Sometimes, to be better, you have to surf the worst wave, you know? And sometimes, when it's big and it's a little bit scary, you have to push yourself to go. And when you are in the water, man, so they don't give you nothing, so you have to fight for your waves. It's not because you are a girl that you're gonna have the nicer or easiest wave. So, I mean, you really have to want it, you know?
The couple gave Kaju a job when her family was still against her surfing, allowing her to keep going.
I think now surfing for young Senegalese is cool, but it's also an option. Like, they know now that you can make money with surfing. And you can make money if you become a good surfer, you can travel first. And for Senegalese, it's really, really difficult to have a visa and to travel. Just in West Africa, it's really hard. So if you are a good surfer, maybe you can have a chance to travel.
Next, Senegal's chance to show the world they really want it. For the first time in surf history, West Africa is hosting a World Surf League tour stop. The Senegal Pro competition draws surfers from powerhouse nations like South Africa and Morocco, as well as competitors from across Europe.
Having a QS event here is definitely a stepping stone towards greater things. I think it inspires a lot of the local talent to push themselves. They see what the level is like in the rest of the world, and there's a lot of Europeans here, there's a lot of South Africans here, but there's really a huge mix. So even for the kids that aren't competing, to see and to aspire to a lot more than just the Senegal waves and surfers and athletes that they have.
For Senegalese pro surfer Sidi Kamara, it's the moment he has been waiting for. Now it's his turn to show what Senegalese surfers are made of. The thriving local surf scene and impressive Atlantic breaks have caught the attention of the World Surf League officials.
Surfer in blue needs a 5.25 to get into the lead.
You know, if I look at the surfers in this country, I would look at them at, very similar to the attitude of the Barbados surfers and the Mexico surfers. They're really cool and laid back and really happy just for us to be, for WSL, to be in their country. The whole of the WSL Africa crew have loved it.
The Senegal Pro goes off without a hitch. Many of the surfers from around the world are impressed by the weather and welcoming waves. The good vibes bode well for staging more competitions all along the West African coast.
We've really established a very strong base in South Africa, so our target is to have events in Mozambique, Morocco, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Angola. This west coast of Africa is just a hotbed of great waves, and we're already exploring more and more options. We've had a good look, we've scoped this whole place. There's a lot of guys who've traveled around the country or traveled around Africa and looked for waves, and here for sure it's been really fantastic in the quality of the waves. We've had 3 days of really high caliber surfing as well as really world-class waves.
The WSL competition in Senegal is an enormous step for us on the global stage. It will help a lot of local surfers to progress. But once again, they really need backing. That's why I want MCX and board to encourage these boys and girls. if they want to represent their country to attend international competitions.
Unfortunately, the ideal conditions do not translate into victory for Sidi. Although he missed out on making the final round, he says the valuable experience has only left him wanting more.
It's my first World Surf League competition at home. I couldn't quite grab the waves I wanted, but I'm even more motivated for the next round, and I'm going to train hard for what's coming up.
The same way they face down any challenging wave, Senegal's surfers are pointing their boards toward the future and paddling hard for their next big break.
Right now, what we're targeting is young surfers, because what we have in mind is the next Youth Olympic. And the next Youth Olympic is in 3 years now, so we don't have the team ready. So we're building up capacity to have a team ready. So we're putting up everything together to have not only training, but also coaching for those young surfers. Because as you know, they will be young, so they're not yet even on the team. So that's our target now.
It was tough for our generation because we didn't have older guys helping us out. We had to learn to surf for ourselves, but now that we have the chance to write down that knowledge, it's something we like to do.
Very quickly, I just got by on my own. I do this because I would have loved to have had a coach. It's not lost if you don't have one, you can catch up. But it's really important for young people especially.
I used to tell myself, I just need to train more and I will feel better. And now I'm here, I feel so good, so happy.